Hello YouTube, I'm back again today, this time with a deck profile of a deck. It was the third deck I think I ever made on Dueling Network, and it is, what would I name this deck? Pretty much old school non-effect synchros, or not, it's not synchros, fusion monsters. I'm sorry, I haven't used this deck in a while, but I just was looking through a lot of the decks I've made, and I've made quite a few just gimmicky decks. And this is the one that started all. This was like the third deck I made on Dueling Network, and the entire purpose of it is to pull out these powerful non-effect fusion monsters. And then you protect them with Royal Decree and this card, non-spellcasting area. We have 3 Blue Eyes White Dragon. Summons Blue Eyes Ultimate, and is just a powerful beater. Even in this day and age, it's still a good card if you can get it out. And this deck can get it out for very little cost. Next we have 3, Red Eyes Black Dragon. This pulls out the 2 fusion monsters, Black Skull Dragon and Meteor Black Dragon, which are both monsters with over 3,000 attack. So if you get these on the field, they'll put in a lot of work. Next, 2 Summon Skull to pull out the Skull Dragon, and the Meteor Dragon to pull out the Meteor Dragon. Pretty self-explanatory. Next, we have 2 Big Koala. This card, along with Death Kangaroo, pulls out Master of Oz, the second strongest non-effect fusion monster, right behind Blue Eyes Ultimate. And with Death Kangaroo, it's the only effect monster that'll ever touch the field, and it's the only one of only 2 monsters that you can normal summon without tributing. And this card, you mostly just use you can use its effect, but it's rare. But if the attack of a monster is lower than the defense of this monster, when it attacks it, the monster that attacked it gets destroyed. And with 17 defense, it can come in handy, but it only very early game or something like that. Next, 3 Thunder Dragon. You discard one of these during your main phase to add 2 Thunder Dragons to your hand. So your opening hand, you normally get one of these. You ditch it, pull out these other 2. You've deck thinned, and you can probably pull out a Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon, which is the one you'll probably be pulling out most often. And even in this one, it's a 2800 beater, which is the weakest of the fusion monsters. And it's still very good. King of the Swamp. You discard this to add a polymerization to your hand, or you can substitute it for fusion material. Infinitely helpful in this deck. For the spells, we have 3 Ancient Ruins. This card, it lets you special summon a level 5 or higher normal monster. So sometimes you won't be fusion summoning. So you use this card and pull out a Blue Eyes White Dragon. And then you can just keep yourself protected until you can get your polymerizations and go off. Summoner Art. Add 1 level 5 or higher normal monster from your deck to your hand. So this is this deck's Rhoda, and it's very good to get your pieces for fusion summoning. Future Fusion. I mostly use this to deck thin, using 3 Blue Eyes to pull out Blue Eyes Ultimate, and if Blue Eyes Ultimate comes out, that's pretty good too. Fusion Sage. I run one of these, search out Polymerization, because Polymerization, it's the main card of the deck. It's their old school fusion monsters. Non-spellcasting area zone. All face-up non-effect monsters that are that aren't effect monsters are unaffected by other spell cards. So you use this card so if your opponent tries to Dark Hole while you have a Black Skull Dragon on the field, it won't be destroyed. And pretty much when you get this card and Royal Decree out, you're normally pretty protected against everything but monster effects. Next, we have Fusion Gate. This is pretty much just a backup for polymerization. I only run one because I want to get the monsters in the grave so I can recycle them, and I normally don't want to remove them. Monster Reborn, staple. Fusion Recovery. I haven't changed this build since the day I built it, but I've learned that this card is infinitely helpful because you target one polymerization and one fusion material monster that was used for a fusion summon in your grave, add them to your hand. So this way you're bringing back your Monster Reborns and stuff for more fusions. 2 MST. We don't run Heavy Storm, or back when I made this deck, it was Giant Tornado was the removal card. Probably because I forgot it when I made it. Because as I said, I haven't changed the build. Dark Hole, staple. Pot of Avarice. It lets me recycle my monsters, and it's especially helpful when I'm using Thunder Dragon, because I'll have 3 Thunder Dragons in the grave, and I can bring them back, draw into another Thunder Dragon, discard it, bring these 2 back. And it also lets me recycle all the other stuff I want. And 2 Royal Decrees, negates all other traps. That way my opponent can't Warning, Judgment, Bottomless my powerful fusion monsters. And pretty much Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon pulls out, gets summoned with 2 Thunder Dragons, and is a 28 beater. Black Skull Dragon, a 32 beater, gets summoned with Red Eyes Black Dragon and Summon Skull. Meteor Black Dragon, a 3500 beater, gets pulled out with Red Eyes Black Dragon and Meteor Dragon. Master of Oz, 4200 beater, gets pulled out with Death Kangaroo and Giant Koala. And Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon gets summoned with 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. Obviously, a lot of people have probably stopped watching because they're like, oh, this is such a noob deck. And this deck was made to be very gimmicky. I made it early on when I started playing again. Before I became, well, I'm not going to say I'm a good player, but I was much worse when I first made this deck. And it's not made to win as much as just have fun. It's a fun deck. And you're not trying to beat your opponent as much as just have fun. And if you beat your opponent, you're having fun doing it because you're pulling out monsters that haven't seen daylight in several years. And that's just a deck this is just a deck I've had a lot of fun with. If you want, net deck it. Make it to your style. Make some changes to make it more consistent, because this deck is not consistent at all. I've had dead hands with 2 Summoned Skulls, and I haven't been able to do any fusion summons, but it's just a fun deck. It's all about fun. And rambled on enough. Thank you for watching. If you've watched this far, please rate and subscribe, and leave a comment. And that's all. Thank you, and goodbye.